Sydney.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about your week and how it went.
Well,
I feel like there's a story
I
there.
got notice from my landlord that we had to be out of our house in 30 days. It was kind of sudden because when we moved in, like he talked about it being kind of month by month thing, but that we would be there for like a year at least, like we wouldn't have to move out or anything like that. So we weren't expecting to get like 30 days notice to get moved out of the house, but he had family recently that sold their house and they want to move into it. So they actually stopped at the house. They were moving things into one of the barns and told us before he told us. So we were kind of freaking out, thinking, why hasn't he said anything? Like, we don't have a lot of time to find a place. So that was a stressful week. And then we started apartment searching right away, and we found a few places. Like, we toured them over the weekend, and we ended up finding one, and we applied. And I just found out today that the application went through, so we're going to be signing our lease and stuff on Wednesday.
Well, that's good.
So I have someplace to live.
That's always a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like it was kind of a stressful week for you.
Yeah, a lot of panicking.
I can believe it, but at least it's all settled and you know where you're going to live next.
Yeah, I feel a lot more relieved now that I actually have a house.
You're not going to be
too.
living in a box under the bridge.
Yeah, or having to move back home with my crazy family. That would just be more stressful.
So do you know when you're going to move? I know you said you're going to sign the lease on Wednesday.
So Wednesday we're going to sign the lease. I think we're taking just like some boxes over of easy stuff that we can put in, and then we're hoping to like slowly move like Thursday and Friday, and then Saturday like all the big stuff. We're just gonna take it one big trip, hopefully, and get it all in there, get settled Saturday and Sunday, and be good to go.
Okay. Sounds like a good plan.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so I know last week whenever we met last, we set a goal. If I remember correctly, it was setting aside 3 hours on Thursdays.
Yeah, for homework. Mm-hmm.
So tell me how that went.
So it was actually really good. I put that time aside, and I was very stressed out this week. We're mostly like, you gotta get homework done because you're gonna have to move, so you have to do something. So I actually got one of my assignments done like a whole week early, and I got it finished. I just want to proofread it one more time before I turn it in, and then I got some reading done too, so I was pretty happy about that.
That's cool. So how much of your homework do you just, out of everything you have to do, how much would you say?
And that time I got like maybe a third of it done, because I mean I have a lot, but I got a good portion of it done.
And it's definitely a good start, because I know the last time that's kind of what we talked about, is just getting a small chunk done and then working to getting everything ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you feel when you got those few assignments done?
I felt like really relieved, because I normally like stressing out about it and like it affects my sleeping and stuff like that. But like having those done, I felt really accomplished. Like I felt like, you did great, you got this done, you don't have to worry about it. So it felt really good, and I was kind of proud of myself for actually working ahead for once.
And has it affected your sleeping? Because I know you said the stress kind of...
Yeah, I've been sleeping a lot better. Like, I don't wake up in the middle of the night as much as I do. Like, I still do, but I think that's just how I am.
Yeah.
But, like, it's a lot less, and I don't have, like, the constant thoughts as much, like, this last week because of it. Like, you got a big assignment done, you got some stuff done ahead of time, so I felt good about it.
It's always good. So, moving forward, do you want to increase your goal? How do you want to move forward?
I feel like I should increase it just because I kind of found a little bit of motivation. So, like, I saw that it actually works doing things ahead of time, and I felt more relieved. So I feel like if we move it forward, I'll, like, challenge myself a little bit more and maybe find more motivation to actually start doing it more on my own and not having to plan the time, like, just starting to work ahead naturally.
And does moving forward mean keeping like the same amount of hours, just doing it several days, or increasing the hours for that Thursday?
Like, maybe spreading it to another day, because like 3 hours Thursday I think is a good time, because like if I have to work, then I'm at work from like 7:30 to 3:30, and then I come home, I do that, and then by the time I'm done, it's like dinner time, and I have to like come relax a little bit before like going to bed. So I like having those 3 hours, but maybe like doing 3 hours like another day or something, just extending it on.
And you said you wanted to kind of focus kind of closer to your school days, so you weren't breaking it up.
Mm-hmm.
So are you looking at like a Friday?
I feel like Friday, probably just adding on like the 3 hours if I work, or like just doing it during the day or something. Because I like having the Saturday, Sunday just to like myself. Like I have to do schoolwork then I will. But like not having to focus on it if I don't need to is nice.
Sounds like a good plan. So when you look ahead and kind of look at yourself trying to achieve these goals, what do you think are some things that are going to kind of put roadblocks in your way?
So if like I have like a really busy week, I feel like that's gonna put a roadblock. Like if I work all 5 days, cause I'm just tired and I'm not in the mood to do homework, I feel like that's gonna like really block me there. Cause it's hard to find the motivation sometimes, and when I'm tired, I really just don't want to do it. So I feel like finding the motivation to be able to do it when I hit that block is gonna be a little more difficult.
And what do you think are some ways we can find that will help you get motivated?
I feel like I just need to remember that like how much more relieved I am now that like I have things done and I'm not stressing about them as much. Like remembering that or realizing, oh, it really does cause me relief to be able to get these things done would help me to like move past it and actually push through it and just do it and not just skip it because I'm tired.
Sounds like a good reason. Is there a particular reason other than motivation that you do kind of procrastinate?
It's more like the being the tired and lack of energy, and then also like I have school 3 nights a week, and then I'm working with kids during the other time. So I just feel like when I have free time, I just want to have free time. I don't want to have to work on school again, but I know I need to. It's more just not wanting to do it, but knowing I need to do it.
Okay. So definitely kind of almost time management, trying to figure out, okay, these are the times I actually have to work, and then these are the times I can relax. Seems like a big issue right there.
Like making it more solid, because that's what I like right now, like having those set 3 hours. I'm like, okay, that's the time you do it, like no ifs, ands, buts about it. Whereas if it's just saying, I'm just going to do it sometime on Thursday, it makes it a little harder because I'm like, I'll just do it in a couple hours, and then I won't do it. And I'll just keep putting it off until it's too late and I can't do it.
So on Thursdays, do you specifically say, well, I'm going to work from 3 to 6, or do you just kind of...
So if I'm not working, I say that like at 4 o'clock until like 6:37 is like when I'll do it. Because I'm like, I get home from work, take like a half hour to take care of my dog and stuff, and then sit down and do it. And like if I'm not working, I like to do it like starting at like 10 until, that would be like 1 o'clock would be like a good time frame for me.
Sounds good. So why don't we think of kind of some other things, or thinking of challenges that if they come up, you can kind of say, hey, I know these are challenges, but I'm going to get over them. Okay. So whether motivation, or if something comes up and you don't get that, 10 to 1 or 4 to 7 on Thursdays, a way to get around that.
Like focusing, like trying to tell myself, okay, if you can't do it this day, then you need to do it another day. Is that what you mean?
Kind of, or if, let's say you had a really exhausting day at work on Thursday, and you're just like, well, I'm too tired, I'm not going to set aside those 3 times. Like almost kind of self-motivating kinds of things.
So finding a way to talk myself into doing it. Okay. I don't know. I feel like just saying, if you get it done now, you can have free time later. Like if you get it done now, you won't be as worried about it, is kind of just what I tell myself usually.
And then when you do get stressed out, is there a time where, and your anxiety is high, do you get down on yourself, or?
Yeah, I kind of criticize myself a little bit. I'm like, why didn't you do it earlier on? Like, this would have been so much easier had you gotten it done. Like, I kind of, like, you're kind of dumb for not doing it. Like, not always in those nice terms, but in my head, I'm a self-critic. I'm like, why didn't you do it? You could have done it. Now you have to cram it in. It's not going to be as good and things like that.
And on average, how many times do you have those self-deprecating thoughts?
It's probably at least once a day, especially like if I have a big project due. Like so the project I had that I worked on ahead of time would have been due tomorrow, but I got it done that Thursday, so I got it done almost like a week in advance. And so like had it not been done, I probably would have been working on it like right before I had to leave for class, and then I would have been mad at myself the whole class period, and I would have had to stress out and do it when I got home. I probably would have had like a mild panic attack about like not being able to get it done on time. I would have been thinking you should have just done it earlier, like mainly like right when things are due. is when I start doing it more because I don't have it done.
And it sounds like those negative thoughts kind of really impact you almost as much as the anxiety, right?
Yeah.
About not doing your homework. Have you ever kind of sat down and thought about those negative thoughts?
I mean, not really. I feel like it's like an in the moment thing, and then once I like finish the assignment or something, I kind of just push it behind me and like, you got it done. Just don't worry about it anymore. Don't really focus on them too much after that. I mean, I'm sure it's not good to be self-criticizing to yourself all the time about little things, but I kind of just brush them aside.
And then when you are self-criticizing, what do you feel like? Does it, like we talked about, it makes your anxiety higher, but does it also make you more angry, sad?
I mean, I get more irritable just because I'm more stressed out. Like, it increases that. And, like, I'm mad at myself, kind of, yeah.
And do you think it kind of prohibits you from getting that motivation to work on another assignment?
Yeah, because, like, once I'm done, like, I'm just so worn out from, like, the whole emotional range that happens when I'm doing it. And, like, I'm, like, tired and wiped out, and I'm just like, okay, you're done. Just go to bed or something.
So it's just as exhausting as kind of the rest of your life, right? Which is completely understandable. So what I would like to do is kind of try to reframe your thinking so you're not as exhausted. So that way you only have one thing exhausting you instead of a couple things. Yeah. So what I would like to suggest is maybe every time you have a negative thought about yourself, writing down a positive, or kind of as soon as you think of that negative thought, immediately come up with a positive.
Okay, so it's like if I think something criticizing of myself, I'm like just kind of find a way to make it more positive. Like say, yeah, you could have done it earlier, but you did something else because it felt more reading at the time or something.
Yep.
Okay.
So you can do that. I know some people, they'll leave like sticky notes on their bathroom mirror with positive affirmations. Some people also, whenever they have a negative thought, they'll write it down. Kind of like keeping track of, okay, these are all the negative thoughts I've had throughout the day, so let's work on changing them to get it fewer and fewer to where I'm kind of thinking positive.
I think I like the idea of writing it down, because then like when you go back and look at it, like you can recognize that it's an issue. I feel like if I just correct it in my head, I may not realize how often I'm correcting it, whereas if I look down and like see them all right now, I think it'd be a little more effective for me.
So what I would like you to do is every time you have a negative thought, write it down, and then at the end of the day, I want you to kind of look at that list and then turn it into a positive. So that way it'll kind of help you start reframing that. And I think the more you realize that you are giving yourself criticism, you're going to realize, okay, this is too much, and then you'll slowly start kind of decreasing them as time goes on.
But yeah, I like that idea. I think it'll help me maybe relax a little bit more, and when I do procrastinate and end up having to turn in an assignment, I won't be as worked up about it, I guess, maybe.
And then hopefully you won't be as tired, which is always a good goal.
Maybe I'll work on something else afterwards.
Yes. So does that sound like something you can do?
Yeah, I think I'll be able to do it. Or at least maybe even type it in my phone might be a little bit easier if I don't have like pen and paper on me.
That's always whatever's handy, which is usually phones nowadays.
Yeah.
And it's something you can think about it and just kind of do a quick audio recording if you don't have time to like type it out. Too.
Yeah, that could work too.
It's kind of whatever works for you. But the important piece I want you to focus on is at the end of the day kind of changing that into a positive.
Okay.
Or like something more encouraging than something negative. Yeah. So I think that will be a good start. So why don't you do that for the next time, and then we'll kind of go through and see how you did, how it changed, things like that, and then we'll kind of start seeing how it's making you feel. Hopefully it makes you feel less So then it's something I kind of want you to focus on as well, is as you're doing that, kind of rating how your anxiety is going down along with it.
Okay. Like after I correct them, or like write the positive thing,
Yeah.
I feel better afterwards. Okay.
Kind of what's your baseline now versus when you've been doing this for like a week or two. Like,
Okay.
has my anxiety gone down now that I'm not, criticizing myself versus what I was doing before?
Okay. Yeah.
So I think it's a good start. Definitely keep working those 3 hours on Thursdays, maybe spreading into Friday. I know it's going to be a little bit more difficult this week with your big move.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
But
find a day.
I think you can do it.
Well, thank you.
You got this far, which is always good. So yeah, let's do that for next time, and then we'll check in and go from there.
Okay, sounds good.